get a smallish one and just put the camera up and let it walk across the. I don't know what that'll look like.
Yeah, I was actually try it out tomorrow. If I have some time tomorrow, I'll just try it out. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of creatures coming out everywhere. Unfortunately, also mosquitoes in my room. the spraying apparently didn't help too much. But that's part of being here. Yeah. So no, it was great. It's been a bit busy, but yeah, actually looking forward to after the fire chat to go look at. I saw the video was up on Facebook as well. The video that Herman made. So yeah, looking forward to actually have a look at it because we didn't get a chance to join them. So
yeah, no, I'm also. It would have been, I'm sure, quite an amazing experience to go through. Yeah. Speaking of that, then movies. Your favorite movie experience and favorite movie?
That's difficult. I watched lots of movies actually, especially when I was in Kuwait because it was really not much else to do than watch a movie and go drink a cup of coffee somewhere. But yeah, I was thinking about what favorite movie. I'm really into science fiction movies and things like that. Surprisingly, maybe I never got into Star Wars, but I'm all the more into Star Trek, so I'm a Trekkie in that sense. I like Schwarzenegger movies. I'm not ashamed to confess that. He's one of my favorite players, actors. No, but he's gotten better. Actually, one of my favorite movies is one of the first ones he made, Conan the Barbarian, and that's actually because it's so bad, it's actually good again. It's almost a little bit like a cult thing. And at the time, maybe that comes a bit to the point. I was also myself trying to do a bit in the gym and things like that, and of course he was the former bodybuilder, and actually at the time I think he still was. Yeah. So then you relate the movie to something in your own life. I guess that makes it rememberable, even if you look at it technically or even acting wise, it's not a very good movie. But yeah, that's one movie. And I said also a bit like the more like Monty Python, a bit. What they call strange kind of humor. Yeah, maybe you mentioned that.
I saw In Barouge a while back, which was.
Which one was that?
A movie called In Barouge, which was actually very good. Very
okay. I must actually check that out. But yeah, one movie actually just popped out now, and that's again that relates to my own things and things I would like to do. And it's called I Dreamed of Africa. It's not particularly it's Kim Basinger, but. It's the whole concept of the movie, and actually I read the book before from Cookie Gallman. And for those of you who don't know, she was Italian. She was from a pretty well-off family, but at some point she chose to give it all up and come to Africa and to Kenya in that sense and start a farm. And she actually that became her life. She was home for her feeling. She had a tough life, So her son died of a snake bite and stuff. But still, she would not give up that life for giving back. And actually that really touched a nerve with me. So I really love that, not specifically for the good acting, but that's again something that I can relate to, and I was always dreaming of just moving
in Africa.
And,
seeing a leopard up a tree with a kill.
And now I'm here, so that's actually quite good. Yeah.
You see, funny movies are interesting things to talk about, because it's just such an easy thing to start talking about. And what's the time now? We've been talking a little while actually, so I'll try and slow down some. But the movie I just mentioned, I Dreamed of Africa, it's a movie I've been thinking about a lot, and I'm going to just sort of chuck that into my favorite movie experience, which is basically any movie I go and see with Lucian. Normally we try and go around 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, or 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock when it's nice and quiet, and you can take a Coke and a popcorn and go and sit down and really enjoy the movie being quiet with people. But I've thought about that movie a lot. She's going to come out here as well and change up quite a few things from her life. So it's been a movie that I've actually been thinking about quite often, and I saw not too long ago. And the Schwarzenegger thing is one of those things. It's a little bit like some of you might find this funnier than others, depending on how you understand. But my father often jokes about the word Land Rover came up just now, and I'm a big fan of Land Rovers. But obviously, owning Land Rover is a bit like having a brother in jail. You still love him, but you talk about him a little bit less. And Schwarzenegger is a bit like that sometimes, maybe. And I'm quite a big fan. When he was 16 or 17, he said he wants to do 3 things in his life. He wants to be Mr. Universe, he wants to be a big Hollywood actor, he wants to be President of America. Most people said that at age 16, 17, you'd get a chuckle, but not a funny one. And he's doing pretty well. He's doing most of those things, and so I also had the opportunity to guide him some years ago. So I met him and his wife and his family, and he's a very cool guy. But yeah, movies can keep us talking about that. Plenty of time. Actually, another point I wanted to get to now, I've like usual gone on rambling and forgot what I was going to say. Did you have something to say when I interrupted you?
No, I was just talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, but as you said. Yeah.
We're in the bush. We're talking about wildlife here.
Yeah. He can get pretty wild. Yeah. He made some movies in the jungle as well.
Yeah. And oh man, I had you said something that I actually wanted to ask about. Just about you being. I think it was sort of when you said, always thinking about being out here and doing things like this. The other day we were sitting with Gorilla again. It was just such an amazing sighting. She was, climbing up the tree. I had that. I love it. I sometimes look back at Pete and he's out, and he's just got the biggest smile on his face, and it reminds me, in a way, of taking out guests for the first time, or that having me out in the bush. It's such an amazing place to be in. And again, just to come back to you being on the vehicle with us. I don't even think of there being one person on the back anymore. And when I look back, I see the person that's viewing with us, and obviously who's behind the camera as well. But being in that place and sitting for you, that's in the director's seat a lot. In other words, viewing it from other sides, and also know that you often look at what's going out live and so on. It's all quite similar in a way. Obviously, when you hear the branch break and the nyala here blows into your face, it adds an element. But there's a very realness to being in that space.
Yeah, it definitely is. Obviously it's not the same, because the one limitation is you have to look where the cameraman looks. That's the one. But I think, and that's as you mentioned, those emails that we got over the last couple of days from people that just started watching us as well, and it was very nice to get those emails, because it shows you that the road that we're on is actually a good one. But I think one of the main things that also helps people feel like they are in here is because you only have your sense of sight and your sense of hearing. That's all that actually comes through physically on your computer. But there's much more. There's the feeling on your skin and the wind and stuff. So I think, especially also what you do with your sunsets and talking about the temperature a little bit, that helps people, because then I think most everybody knows what a summer sunset feels like, and when it's windy or rainy, how that feels, or whether it's a cold morning. And that, I think, helps people also to make it more real for them. Then the other things we put on as well, the GPS, and then in the future.
Yeah, you've got a weather station coming up, right?
Yeah, exactly. The weather station coming up. So people will know that it is this temperature and it is very humid, or whatever the wind chill factor even is. All those kind of things. They'll make them help imagining actually being. It'll make it more real for them. So I think that's also a big part of it. That it's not just the camera and the sight and the view, but also talking to them and being able to ask a question. Being able to ask a question. That's I think important as well, because that makes it like a two-way experience rather than just you or Exxon or whoever just telling whatever they want to say, but they can ask a question and have an impact on what the conversation goes by, what the content is. And I think that's a huge part of it, and that's fascinating and exciting to be from this side. And I even see if I speak to my parents, they started watching, and I think that's the feedback you get from them, and it's just it's amazing. It's just there's so people everywhere over the world, and they just watch. They, instead of just sitting on the table for their dinner, they just take the plate basically on their knees and they go sit in front of the computer and watch it. It's just like
that is something.
Just to realize that.
That is actually very cool. I mean, more and more as I've got friends as well that have got access to enough bandwidth and so on. The more people that are watching it, maybe the first time just because I heard about it, or they mentioned something, and the amount of them coming back and saying it's really nice. They watch it quite often and get onto it. It's a very exciting thing. It's nice to be excited about what we're doing, and also see friends and peers and so on like you are getting into it. But just a quick, while I'm thinking of it now, just to mention maybe towards the end of this is, like I said, quite a few changes coming up.
Yeah, I was just thinking, we shouldn't forget to mention that.
And I'm sure you guys will certainly see it as it comes along. But the things that Pete's been doing, the other day he did that brilliant thing. I still haven't had time to go look at it. I saw it on Facebook as well, with showing Dixie to the with Google and the GPS you're bringing in, and the weather station that might be up in the next week or two, and then also some things with the website coming along. It's going to be lots of.
I must say, I don't have anything to do with the website. I don't. So credit where credit is due, I guess. That's Graham and the people on Zap Live working very hard on improving the website, adding extra content, making everybody's life easier. Especially, I think one main thing, it's now next week we'll go to what I call the beta phase, which